Episode 33, Take 2. You're listening to the Advantage Survival Podcast, a podcast devoted to helping you gain the advantage of survival in all your life adventures. Are you ready to survive? All right, I'm your host, Les Baker, and this is episode number 33, Take 2. What? Yeah, Take 2. All right, I had a show up earlier today, but I had to take it down. The folks that I interviewed asked me to take it down because, hey, they want to update some more information for me and make the podcast even better. So that's what I did. Now, you know, I couldn't leave you hanging. So today, we're going to talk about what you want. I'm pretty sure I know what I want, but I need to know what you want. All right, well, you know the show sponsor routine. And I don't need to tell you, you just need to go to nwhomesforsale.net, and I'll have a link in the show notes. Check it out. If you need real estate, you need to sell real estate, and if you need to do that globally, you need to check out that website. Enough said there, huh? All right, so what I want to talk about today is, well, what you want. I'm not sure if you guys are liking the interview style shows or if you like the shows where I get into the down and dirty wilderness stuff, or if you like the shows that, you know, ramble on into the urban survival and prepping arena, or maybe you just like the way I'm doing it. I need to hear from you guys. So, you know, send me an email, les@advantagesurvival.com, and kind of give me a feel for what you're looking for. My goal with Advantage Survival, and kind of like my intro says, you know, it's a podcast devoted to helping you gain the advantage of survival in all your life adventures. And, you know, I want to make sure that that's really what you guys want to know about. So I'm going to have shows that are going to be interview shows where I talk about different products and, you know, different things that I use in my survival and prepping needs. And also shows that are interview-based, that are talking to folks that have a great deal of knowledge, more knowledge than I do, quite frankly, in the topic, in the specialties that they're in. And hopefully putting all of these things together helps you gain the advantage of survival in your life adventures. And that's kind of the goal of Advantage Survival now, I think. You know, after 33 episodes, it's, you know, I'm finally, quite honestly, I'm finding my voice a little bit. I've updated the equipment that I'm recording on now, and it is truly my goal to get a show out every single week. And you know, that's what I want to do, and I want to make sure you guys are getting the information that's going to help you in your needs. Now, I know there's tons and tons of podcasts out there, and there are some really, really good ones out there. And like, you know, I'm sure, like, if you're listening to this, you're subscribed to the podcast, and you're probably subscribed to those other podcasts as well. And you guys know, if you've been in the podcast arena for a while, you know what those shows are, and they're good shows, and they're certainly all going to help you. And quite honestly, you know, learning from those shows has helped me do my research and helped me become a better wilderness survival person, and has given me some new skills and things to think about when I'm out practicing, you know, survival. And I think that's really important. Now, I've had 25 plus years of search and rescue experience, and I've retired from that. And for those folks, the new listeners that don't know, you know, I've spent a long time just devoting my life to volunteer search and rescue here in Pierce County, Washington. And you know, I've done it from being a ground pounder to a four-wheel drive organization to an organization called the Rapid Response Advanced Mobile Search and Rescue Unit. And that was a ground SAR unit. And the unit was designed to be a ground search and rescue unit. In other words, the people, the teams that were involved in that have the ability to live for several days in a wilderness situation and in really nasty conditions without any issues. And they have all the equipment, the knowledge, the skills to do that. They also have the skills to do it on an ATV in adverse conditions, and also or on snowmobiles in adverse conditions. So, that's what that unit was based about. And for probably 10 of those 25 or so years of search and rescue, that's what I did. And, getting older and realizing that, I needed to pass the hat to younger folks, I did. And, those folks are taking the torch, and hopefully they're doing well with it. But the skills and the things that I've learned and the things that I've seen during that time have really, really taught me a lot. And the lessons I've learned, excuse me, in search and rescue missions and training missions have just, their skills and I don't know how to say it. It's a mindset that has really helped me in my later life, my retired life, if you will. So, I just wanted to kind of say that, and hopefully you guys understand where Advantage Survival is coming from, and I truly do want to hear from you. Now, this episode is going to be short, and I'm going to be rambling. I'm going to be bouncing all over the place. But kind of getting back to that search and rescue theme a little bit, and why I do Advantage Survival is, I would get a call out. The pager would go off at, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I had to go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I had to make a decision whether to go or no go. And depending on what, where that search was at, I made a decision to go on that mission. And, there were a lot of sleepless nights. And, I still had to perform at work. I had a really high-stress job. I was a construction superintendent for a major Seattle company. And, I had to perform. I had to be there. And I had meetings to go to. And I had lots and lots of people that I was responsible for, along with a multi-million-dollar project. And you have to weigh all those things when you get that call at 1 a.m, whether you're going to go. And a lot of times I would look at the clock and I would go, let's see, they're in Eatonville tonight, this lost subject, and I've spent hundreds of hours down there searching for people and training and recreating myself. I can get down there in 50 minutes and search. If we're really good, we can do a hasty search and, and get that done in a couple hours and wrap that search up. Boom, I'm back here. I can drive to Seattle from Puyallup. It's about an hour and a half drive. Can I make it all work? And, a lot of times I might have been a little late for work. But it's good to have people that can cover for you, right? So, anyway, the point here is that, you've got to make some decisions that are going to, help save other people's lives. At least that was my mindset. And, spending those few hours doing that, whether we were successful or not, or whether I was part of the success and maybe I left and other people took over and they were successful in finding the lost subject, and, all of that, at least I tried. But it all has taught me so many things about survival and wilderness survival and being prepared, and, seeing the results of search and rescue missions that don't always end with happy endings. You find somebody that's deceased and it's no fun. You have to work through that, and it's the nature of the beast, I guess. And again, I'm rambling. So where do I want to take Advantage Survival? I want to take Advantage Survival, I guess, in the podcast arena to the next level, right? And the next level means, producing a better podcast for you guys, and hopefully getting more input from my listeners. Early on, I did some podcasting, and I did it while I was working and doing search and rescue, so time was pretty limited, and I did the best I can getting shows out. But now that I'm retired, things are settling into to what my new normal is. I'm able to put out some podcasts every week, and I'm glad that I could do that. So as I hone the baseline of what advanced survival is. I think the tagline or the moniker, or whatever you want to call it, what this show is about is a podcast devoted to helping you gain the advantage of survival in all your life adventures. And I do mean that, all your life adventures, whether you're doing wilderness or you're the person that gets in the car every morning at 4 o'clock and you drive for an hour and a half to work in just some outrageously ridiculous traffic, go to a job that you either like or you don't, and you come home and do it all again the next day. And just that commute is a survival experience in and of itself. I mean, getting behind the wheel of a car and negotiating just ridiculous traffic like I did for so many years, you learn things, and you learn that, you need to have a get-home bag. Well, what the hell's a get-home bag? Well, I figured that out, and I figured it out on my own. Before bug-out bags and get-home bags were all the rage, I had a get-home bag. I didn't call it a get-home bag. I called it my SAR bag, my SAR backpack, because I knew from search and rescue that I could put on my systems of survival, and if that backpack was near me, with me, I knew I had no issues. I knew I could survive for quite a long time out of that backpack in any kind of condition, and that was really important to me. So along those lines, what kind of shows do you want to hear out of Advantage Survival? Do you want to hear more of those gear shows? Do you want to hear more of the interviews? Do you want to hear interviews of big corporations that have, really cool technology-based products? Or, do you want to hear about more search and rescue stories, or, more of the down and dirty wilderness stuff? I guess those are the kinds of questions I'm asking you, my audience, to consider, and let me know what you think. Again, I want to be very. I want to get the audience more involved in my podcast. I want more, voice recordings, if you will. I mean, if you go to AdvantageSurvival.com, you can click on that little red tab on the right-hand side of the page and, leave me a 90-second voicemail message, or just record something on your computer and shoot it over in an email. I'd be happy to put it on the air and maybe come up with a question of the day or a comment of the day, or, just if you have anything you want to say about survival, I'd be happy to entertain that. And, if your audio's good, I'll put it up on the show and we'll put it out there for everybody to listen to. So, where do you want the show to go? I'm kind of getting a feel where I know I want it to go. I want more, I want more consistency, and doing it every single week is a good thing, I think. Also, getting the word out to more people is a good thing. Just coming on and getting the podcast on Stitcher has been a pretty cool thing. Stitcher's in 40,000 or 40 million cars now in 2005. Stitcher Radio, you can dial it in your dashboard and download what you like, and that's pretty cool to be able to get that kind of content out to folks. Along with iTunes as well. So, you guys know that I'm not a big social media kind of guy, but I'm learning that I need to, be more active on my Advantage Survival Facebook page, and I shoot tweets out when new shows come out. But the cool thing I've added to the website too is an ability to subscribe by email to the show, and what the plan there is to be able to let you guys know when a show's coming out, maybe a couple days beforehand, and maybe giving you the topic or the person that's being interviewed, giving you a heads up on that so you can decide whether to go or no go on the show. And, also just letting you know what's happening news-wise. And what's happening news-wise is another thing that I've been entertaining to, adding to the show is, recently we had a tragic story here in Washington on Mount Rainier, where a snowshoer here lost his life. He'd gone out on a weekend, and he went up to Camp Muir. He was planning to go to Camp Muir to spend the night in the rock shelter up there. It's about 10 grand or more in elevation, and the weather turned really bad, got lousy, and he turned around and he headed back down, and he got down about $6,000 and realized that he saw some folks that had a tent and a snow shelter, and they were more than happy to invite this gentleman in to get out of the weather and hunker down for the night. Well, the fact of the matter is part of their snow shelter was destroyed in the storm, and they had a wall collapse, and they really didn't have any shelter. And whether or not they were too tired to, try and construct another shelter and hunker down or not, but whatever the case may be, they decided to go ahead and hike back down to the main parking lot there, and seek shelter in their cars or whatever it might be. They tried it. They started walking down. Well, the gentleman just couldn't keep up with the other two folks, and in the really blizzard type conditions, he lost his way, and they couldn't find him again. And the next day or so, they did discover his body. The weather turned good, and they were able to get aircraft up to search, and they looked in avalanche chutes and all that, and they did find him. But just another tragic story, and it's hard to sit here and second guess what has happened, what happened to him, what went through his mind, what was his decision process. And certainly our thoughts go out to the family of this gentleman. It's a sad situation, but it reminds me of so many search and rescue missions where you go, geez, man, if they just had this one thing, they could have survived. Or it's, if they just used the one thing they had in their backpack, they would have survived. If they just had the knowledge to have the ability to use whatever this item is, they would have survived. If they had the knowledge of hypothermia and realized that their mind is going to be working, but their body isn't, and they're not going to be able to use their digits to light a match or whatever it might be, use a knife, they start to lose it like that. It's got to be a horrible, horrible way to die. And, in the late stages of hypothermia, it's really not a very dignified way to die either. A lot of times, I can recall searches where people have stripped off their clothes and we've found them nude, in a stream. It's just a horrible way to die. And, it's those kinds of stories that, have made advantage survival evolve to what it is. I want folks to, gain that advantage of survival. I want them to think outside the box when they're heading out into the wilderness, and, think outside the box in an urban situation. If an earthquake has happened, whatever it is, I think, as crazy as it sounds, and maybe this is the mishmash of what advantage survival is, as far as, trying to tie a wilderness survival show into an urban prepping show, that's hard. And but I think it has a lot of things that are tied together in it. I preach a lot in my book, the Surviving a Day Hike All Night, and I talk about systems of survival. And you can go back to some of the other blog posts, and I'll put a link in the show notes for the post about systems of survival. Maybe I need to update that and put another podcast out to talk about my systems of survival. But I think those systems of survival are really, systems of survival that can help you in a wilderness and in an urban situation. And did I mention I'm rambling? I know I'm all over the place, but stick with me. The point is I want folks to realize that, you do have the ability to think outside the box, and you have the ability to come up with things that fit into your situation, your lifestyle, your environment, your job, whatever it is, your everyday living. Systems of survival fit into those things, whether you're in a wilderness or an urban situation, and you can add things to them. My systems of survival, quite honestly, are evolving, all the time. As I learn more, as I interview people and they teach me things, as I go out and I practice those skills, I learn a lot of stuff. And, I can't teach you those things on a podcast, but I can plant the seed in your mind to make you think outside the box and make you try some of these things and in a controlled environment and practice, survival skills that are really going to help you, in, again, all your life adventures. All right, well, that was probably enough of me rambling. I'm going to go ahead and, just say, check out the Advantage Survival podcast. Check out the website at advantagesurvival.com. I'm not going to blow, the big long outro here like I normally do, but take a look at the show. Send me some email. Send me a voicemail. Let me know what you want to hear about on the Advantage Survival podcast, and I'll be happy to oblige. I know that a lot of folks, in the survival community, are very dedicated in practicing their skills, and I'm one of those. I go out and I do what I say I do. I say what I've done, and I share some of those experiences with you, and hopefully they'll carry you through your survival situation and help you gain the advantage. I think that's the whole purpose of Advantage Survival. So with that, I think we're going to put a wrap to this episode 33, take 2, and we will try and get an interview lined up with those folks that were episode 33, take 1, and they promised me that they'll do another interview, and we'll get that thing out here in the next few weeks. But I will tell you, I've got an awesome interview lined up, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but we've got a couple folks that I'm interviewing tomorrow that I think that show is going to air on next Wednesday, the 17th of January, I want to think. Let me look here. It's the 14th. The 14th of January. So really excited about that interview. It's going to be fun. And, with that, I think we will wrap this podcast up. And I apologize for the rambling, and I apologize for having to pull that show. But you know what? We're just going to roll with it. And I'm getting a podcast out to you, and quite frankly, I'm begging you for your emails, man. Shoot me some emails and shoot me some voicemails, and let's get a community built here at Advantage Survival and help you gain the advantage in all of your survival situations. So, all right. All right, well, that does it for today's ramblings at AdvantageSurvival.com. Remember, you can check out the links from today's show notes. I don't know what they are. It's probably AdvantageSurvival.com would be the link. If you have any comments or questions, go to that red tab on the right side of any Advantage Survival page and click on it. Leave me a 90-second voicemail message, and we'll see if we can get you on the show. Thanks again. I mean, you guys do make it possible, and you make it worth doing the podcast and spending the time putting it out there. It's, I got to be honest, it's a lot of fun doing this show, and when I know that folks are listening and they're digging it, I know I'm making a difference, and that's important. So remember, have the advantage of survival in all of your life adventures. Are you ready to survive? Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.